Welcome. I'm Marlene Peterson, President and founder of Libraries of Hope. I'm so happy to introduce you to an offering from Libraries of Hope in connection with the Well-Educated Heart and Mothers of Influence. We are calling it Belle at Home. Belle is French for beautiful soul, for that which uplifts and ennobles. Beautiful souls will build a beautiful world. Just like a garden, souls need to be tended and cared for and nourished. Our mission statement is, we are gathering a community of families who are relearning the lost art of educating hearts and souls through the arts. We seek to preserve a culture of faith, freedom, and family, and a love of the good, the true, and the beautiful. We hope to build a central campus called Belle, a center for artful living. This would give us a home for the work in which we are engaged, where you can bring yourself and your families for an immersionary experience and deepen your understanding of all you are learning. Belle at Home is a prelude to that campus and also stands independently to assist you in the vital work you are doing in your own homes. We believe mothers are divinely endowed with gifts of nurturance. We concur with Pius IX, who said, "Give me good mothers, and I will save the world." Our Catch the Vision introductory course, offered in this community, unfolds the well-educated heart philosophy of learning, which places mothers at its core. In the olden days, there were many mothers helpers to support the mother in her work. Today, mothers often work in isolation, bearing the full load of child rearing. Belle at Home seeks to lighten that load by bringing in some helpers. But none of them can, nor should they, replace a mother's heart and personality. They are there to help, but you are in charge. Adapt what is being offered to the circumstances and needs of your own family. Many of you have been trying to implement the well-educated heart philosophy of learning into your homes, but have felt a need for additional guidance and support. Belle at Home provides that. The guiding objectives of Belle at Home can be remembered through the arts. Form habits of attention. Build relationships and connections. Gather treasures into the heart. Strengthen home and family. Now, imagine we are about to embark on an adventure, a tour of the whole world. But we won't be making our trip on a jet plane. Rather, we will climb aboard a little train that leisurely meanders through the countryside. We're not in a hurry at all. It is a journey and not a destination, after all. Our little train will stop at inspiration stations along the way that will give us ideas of how to learn about the places we are traveling through. Sometimes we will spend time in an art museum. Other times we will take in a symphony orchestra or join in singing folk songs with the locals. Maybe we'll learn some out-of-the-way place we want to visit next time we stop by. Or take the time to eat a meal with a great soul we've been introduced to. Sometimes the local people will invite us into their homes and share their traditions with us and the food they love and the crafts they enjoy making. Maybe they'll even invite us to dance with them. How many things we do is entirely up to us. Sometimes we will take in a lot. Sometimes we may only be able to do a little, but it's okay because we'll pass through the same countryside every year, year after year, year after year, maybe even a whole lifetime. Each time the people and the places will become more familiar. We will look forward to returning to our friends we've made and eagerly look forward to meeting new ones. Along the way, we will learn the stories of their history, visit their landmarks, read their literature and poetry, meet their epic heroes, enjoy their fairy tales and myths. We will take in all of the beauties of their countries and appreciate the gifts they have added to the culture of the world. Over time, we will fall in love with our wonderful world and, more importantly, its people. Robert Louis Stevenson reminds us, "The world is so full of a number of things, I'm sure we should all be as happy as kings." We will also travel through the world of nature, the stars, the rocks, the rivers and seas, the plants and trees and creepy-crawly things, and birds and animals of all kinds. They all have lessons to teach us, and through our habits of attention, they will begin to unfold their mysteries to us. Orison Swett Marden tells us, the whole world is full of unworked joy mines. Everywhere we go, we find all sorts of happiness-producing material, if we know how to extract it. So the first objective of Belle at Home offers you ways to help your children and yourself develop habits of attention that will enable us to extract all that happiness-producing material. The wonders of the world will remain locked to the child who has no eyes to see with, nor ears to hear, nor a desire to seek. John Muir Laws, an internationally acclaimed nature journalist, teaches that love is sustained, compassionate attention. Let yourself fall in love with your life by paying attention. In fact, in ancient Hebrew education in the days of Daniel, the main purpose of education was to form habits of attention. And when these had once been secured, the pupil was capable of mastering any subject that divine providence should put before him. In the Catch the Vision introductory course, I mentioned that as I searched for God's purpose and methods of education, I first concluded that His purpose is that children be prepared to live lives of maximum joy. As to His methods, it is best summed up in a quote found in the writings of Charlotte Mason. True education is between a child's soul and God. By developing habits of attention, we open ourselves up to the lessons heaven reserves to itself to teach. As I introduce you to the teachers and classes we have gathered to teach these habits, rest assured these helpers are all familiar with the well-educated heart philosophy of learning, and wherever possible will incorporate what they are teaching with the topics in the rotation schedule. The first habit comes through drawing. Drawing produces exactness of thought. The internationally acclaimed Monart method for drawing instruction was developed by Mona Brooks. She writes, "At a time when more and more of our youth are being designated as having learning problems, Monart is a program that is helping them. It turns out that visual emphasis was one of the missing links in our learning environment. It has been established that if you draw what you are learning about, you will learn it much faster and retain the information much longer. Everyone loves to draw if they are given a non-threatening environment with enough structure for success and enough freedom for creativity. That is what Monart provides." Belle at Home is excited to welcome Sarah Peterson as our Monart licensed instructor, who has been given permission by Monart to offer virtual classes to you. Sarah, an accomplished artist, comes from a family of artists. Her father is Del Parson, whose works are likely familiar to many of you. Her grandfather started the art program at what was then Ricks College. She gave birth to 4 of her 7 children while going through the Master of Fine Art program at the Academy of Art University. But do you know what? She told me she thought she couldn't draw in the beginning. Monart is for all ages. Most everyone can learn to draw. Each week you will be able to access a virtual recorded lesson to guide you through the process of learning to draw what you see. Our second habit of attention turns to the ear and music. The first and most important musical instrument that we all have access to is our voice, and our program of choice to you is Music Together, taught by the delightful Carrie Dahl, an experienced Music Together instructor. In a nutshell, their mission is to make the world a better place by making it more musical. They do this by providing the highest quality music and movement classes to families everywhere. Classes are found in over 40 countries, yet everyone sings the same music. Music Together is exposure to a rich, diverse song mix that represents many different music styles and traditions, which broadens our capacity to appreciate all music. You will connect to cultures around the world through their folk songs and lullabies. Even babies will learn to sing through this program. Singing as a family not only strengthens the bonds you have with your children, it will create unique connections in the brain that support your child's language, social, emotional, cognitive, and physical development too. Our third habit of attention now turns to the dramatic instinct and the power of the voice to express the heart through storytelling and through the music of the spoken word. Our mother's helpers for this class are Carla Huntsman and Stephanie Roth. Carla, who spent 20 years on the faculties of 4 universities teaching drama education, public speaking, interpersonal communication, and storytelling, says, "Making meaning through story and theater activities has been my life's work. These complementary art forms deepen our abilities to live, laugh, love, and learn, to make meaning of our world. Through the years, I have seen hundreds of lives changed through the power of story." Stephanie Roth, a mother of 6 children, has trained with some of the most masterful storytellers in the world. Although she has used her storytelling talents in venues like the Timpanogos Storytelling Festival, her passion is in restoring the art of storytelling in the home. She is excited to share her knowledge with our community of families. Our fourth habit of attention turns to the art of nourishing our bodies and paying attention to what we are feeding it. Annie Miller will be offering unique cooking classes for your children. These aren't the typical cook by recipe classes, but rather she will first teach them principles of nutrition and then help them learn to combine foods in delicious ways to nourish their bodies. They will learn to cook foods from around the world in connection with our world tour. These 4 classes will be offered as a once-a-week experience that you can view on demand, which means you can choose when and where to watch and participate. In our Creativity Corner, we are offering a number of creative activities to choose from. There is great joy in the creative process, and there is no creation without the act of paying attention to what we are doing. We want to teach our children to be creators, not just consumers. In our world of virtual reality and artificial intelligence, it's more important than ever to connect our children to that which is authentic and real. Annalie Baldwin will offer a variety of crafting classes connected to the cultures we study each month. She is a talented homeschooling mother of 3 who loves to create. Amy Hansen will be teaching sewing skills. For those of you who have a sewing machine or have a desire to buy a machine, she will offer some basic sewing machine skill classes, and then you can join in monthly projects like sewing stuffed animals and other things like that. There are plans for a quilt block a month option as well, based on the nature rotation, with a heart in the center in relationship to month 9 study of the human body. For those of you without a sewing machine, she will offer some hand sewing projects. Please don't think these activities are for girls only. Some future surgeon out there will be grateful for the fine motor hand-eye coordination he developed by sewing. As a side note, I'm often told that Well-Educated Heart is geared towards girls. But may I remind you, most of the immortal musicians, artists, poets, and writers have been men. Many of the great designers of clothing have been men. During the wars, soldiers were found knitting socks. The joy of creating will be felt by boys and girls alike. We will be adding a variety of classes along the way. There are so many possibilities. Angie Blatt and her husband, who was a member of BYU's folk dance team, will teach us folk dances from around the world. Historically, dancing has been one of the world's most effective bonding activities. Each week, the entire week's offering will be unlocked at the beginning of the week. They will remain accessible for 4 weeks and then will be archived until the next year. Our second objective is building relationships and making connections with others. Friendships are key to joyful living. For those of you who are homeschooling, it is the isolation that often drives children back to school, where sadly, too many of them find themselves in less than desirable circumstances. Most of our kids crave friendships. While virtual friendships are not the ideal, it is a place to start. And as it becomes more familiar and comfortable, it creates connections that would never have happened any other way. For instance, my high school grandson, who lives in Utah, meets in a virtual book club with another teen in Virginia, and another one in North Dakota, and they have a great time discussing books together, even though they have never met in person. An important part of what Belle at Home will offer you is a way to connect your kids with other kids and form friendships in groups that will meet over Zoom. Some groups may decide to meet every day. Other groups may choose just a couple of times a week. It's up to you. Our community platform provides a way for you to find families near you, especially with kids that align to the ages of your children. Or you may like to make new friends from far away. You will even be able to tap into similar interests. Or maybe you'll form a group from friends or neighbors or family members. I have grandchildren who are excited to have a cousins group because they don't live near each other and they would love to get together. You decide how large of a group you want to be part of. 8 to 10 members has proven to be a nice number. Just know you are in charge and you can make these groups as large or small as fits your needs. When you enter the Belle at Home community, you will be given guidelines on how to go about doing this. Whenever possible, we encourage you to meet together in person as often as possible. For some of you who live near each other, that may be able to happen weekly or monthly. For others who live farther away from each other, maybe you can only meet once or twice a year. Do some of the suggested activities together when you meet. From time to time, consider including families from many groups in your area and hold a cultural celebration, bringing potluck foods from the countries you visited, displaying your creative works, dancing and singing together, maybe even present plays. These celebrations would be a perfect time to invite other families and introduce them to Belle at Home. Students in these groups will be given a virtual mini prompt from a variety of mentors of something to do, something to search for, or something to talk about or explore. If you are familiar with the Take Fives, this is like a Take Five for young people, where they will be introduced to a lot of tools for learning over time. We will suggest several ways for kids to interact with each other and to build friendships, as well as introduce them to mentors who will inspire them and encourage them in their learning. We will weave into this experience the art of conversation and the art of writing from the heart and the art of falling in love with learning and great books. Now, our third objective is to gather treasures into the heart. The scriptures teach, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." This is the heart and soul of the Belle at Home experience and is where most of the day will be spent. One way this will happen is that each day can begin with a special tour guide hostess who will orient them to where our imaginary train ride has brought us and will offer an inspirational quote or poem that they will be encouraged to copy and add to their own treasury of ennobling and uplifting thoughts, and may even choose to memorize according to their own desire. The habits of attention courses, as well as the Zoom class meetings, if you choose to do them daily, may take up to an hour and a half or 2 hours a day, but the bulk of the day will be for what we are calling pasture learning. We have put up fences of sorts through the use of the rotation schedule. Of course, if your kids have greener pastures, of course they can go there. Pasture learning describes the hours of exploration and discovery, of free and imaginative play, of field trips, and lots of time in the sunshine. There's time to listen to stories and read and write. Carla Huntsman has invited 6 of her professional storyteller friends to tell stories by heart from the forgotten classics, to stir interest and desire to study more, which you will find in our Storytellers Corner. In fact, everything we provide in the first and second parts I've described is to stir desire and interest to make the most of their pasture learning experience. Remember, freedom to discover is essential for growth and joy. Someone on our development team noticed that Belle at Home spells ba, which of course reminds us of sheep grazing in a pasture. In the 23rd Psalm, "The Lord is my shepherd, the shepherd preparest a table." That meant he would go into the pasture and clear out the toxic and poisonous plants so that the sheep could safely graze. We believe that is what BiblioGuides offers you, a place for your children to safely read and learn from the best books that have ever been written. The forgotten classics are being added to the database and tagged in BiblioGuides for easy access as well. A BiblioGuides membership is included in your Belle at Home membership, and guides will teach your children how to get the most use of this amazing resource in their Zoom classes. The enrichment section of the Libraries of Hope site provides additional free access to fine art, masterpieces of music, more craft and cooking ideas, movies, even plays. These learning tools will be highlighted in the Zoom class prompts. Over time, we hope students will be so excited about what they are learning and reading and experiencing and creating that they will naturally want to share with their friends and family members, and through that interchange will be inspired to learn even more. The ideal learning environment is not in isolation but in community. Yes, to solitary, quiet, and reflective times, but without an outlet, learning can stagnate and grow stale. As we form habits of attention, build relationships, store treasures of goodness in the heart, our homes and families will quite naturally be strengthened, and strong, healthy families are at the foundation of a strong, healthy world. Now you may be asking, but what about the 3 R's? While there are non-traditional ways of teaching academic skills that are talked about in the Mother's University, for those of you who feel more comfortable with traditional ways, you will find an academic station with recommendations for these academic skill-building subjects. Working academic skill building into the rhythm of the day is important, but they are not the primary focus here. Just know, everything you will be doing will support academic excellence without you having to spend an inordinate amount of time directly teaching it. Live chat options for continued support will be provided. Which brings me to one more important piece of the program. Belle at Home is based on the Well-Educated Heart philosophy of learning. As mentioned, there is a free introductory course called Catch the Vision, and you are encouraged to go through in order to see your role as mother teacher more clearly and to understand why we are doing things the way we are doing them. If you have previously gone through it, you are encouraged to go through it again. While what is being taught hasn't changed, you have changed, and you will glean new insights each time you go through it. It's more about seeing learning through new eyes than anything else. A new streamlined version with easy access will be provided for you within the community platform. When you complete Catch the Vision, you will be invited to join our Mothers community, Mothers of Influence, where you will continue to find friendship, support, and inspiration. There is a Mothers University for continued learning. This is not a journey you need to make alone. And as was said, this is a journey, not a destination. So enjoy each step along the way. I expect by now you are asking, so how much is this going to cost? A single online class for Monart, for example, is around $65 a month for each student. A BiblioGuides membership is about $12 a month if you pay monthly or half that if you pay annually. And you are getting music together classes, cooking and sewing and craft and storytelling classes and support for creating group learning experience with mentors. We can't offer it for free, but we know this has to be affordable. Because all of our Mothers Helpers are doing this because they believe in this work of the heart and healing our world, they are making it possible for us to offer all of these things for a fraction of what you would pay separately for these classes and support. The membership fee to access all that I have described is $79 a month per family. The price includes BiblioGuides membership, the Monart classes, music together classes, dramatic storytelling, nutritional cooking for kids, sewing classes, crafting classes, additional creative classes, games, folk dance instruction, group facilitation with mentor prompts, the Storyteller's Corner, the Academic Station, daily inspirational copywork, a monthly downloadable guidebook with maps, supply lists, ideas of people and places to learn about, and your copy work, support and inspiration. And that's not all. At the beginning, I referred to the Belle Dream. This is a beautiful campus we hope to build, a center for artful living. We've already secured 140 acres in the heart of America in Missouri, and plans are being drawn up. We believe that by small and simple means, great things can be brought to pass. And wouldn't it be a most wonderful miracle to show the world that this beautiful campus and gardens was built by small and simple means? That ordinary people contributing in simple ways can join together to do something magnificent? If the number of memberships allows it, much of your monthly contribution for Belle at Home will be used to build the campus. We don't want this to be built by wealthy philanthropists or investors. This is meant to be a gift, our gift, to future generations, built by the contributions of their mothers and grandmothers who had their eyes upon them. As founding families, everyone who completes a full year of supporting Belle at Home will have a paver stone with their family name on it, placed on the campus as a reminder of the families who made this Belle dream come true. All ages are invited to join Belle at Home, and classes will be presented family style. If your children are all grown, or even if you have no children of your own, you are also invited to join. Gather a circle of your own friends and make use of all that is being offered here to enrich your own lives. To enter the community, click the Request to Join button. You will be given a free 7-day trial to look around, and you may cancel at any time. Just a closing thought. If we don't like the direction our world is heading, we, the mothers who are the guardians of the hearts, are the ones with the power to change the course. We make history. As Confucius taught, to put the world right in order, we must first put the nation in order. To put the nation in order, we must first put the family in order. To put the family in order, we must first cultivate our personal life. We must first set our hearts right. Setting hearts right is the job of the arts. And this is the spirit of Belle Centers for Artful Living. Belle at Home is the next step. We would love to have you be part of our community.